I'm Corbitt with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, July the 24th, brought to you in part by Arvest Bank. Arvest is more than just a bank, it's a partner with boots on the ground. From livestock to land and everything in between, they can help you in the four-state area of Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, or Kansas, any of those states. They can help you there. You know, as other banks and lending institutions are running from cattle loans, Arvest Bank is aggressively pursuing them. And I was with some of the guys here just not long ago. We had lunch together, had a good visit. They told me they will not leave you hanging with margin calls. Has that happened to you? You had a lot of cattle, you had them protected, the margin calls came, and you couldn't afford to pay the margin calls, and they would not loan you the money to make the margin calls. They will not do that at Arvest Bank. They understand what all that means. All loans are subject to credit approval. For more information, go to arvest.com/agriculture. Breaking point. Are we reaching a breaking point here? It kind of feels like it. I tell you what, you know, everything is sky high. Your choice boxes on Wednesday were down $5. That's rough, and I know that's just on the spot trade, but you would think some of these wholesale buyers would be needing some product in the spot trade, but they're not able to keep it up there. Your fat trade is an absolute standoff. I mean, we haven't seen anything. We saw just a few head dribble there out of Iowa late on Monday. It was at 240, which was steady, but really that's it. We haven't seen anything happen. We've seen a few fat cattle auctions. They were near steady, but the board is a runaway. And I told you on our last visit that everything felt really bullish. The cattle on feed estimates looked like it could bring about a bullish report. We've got a biannual cattle inventory report that's coming out on Friday. We didn't have one last year, but we had one 2 years ago. Well, anytime you get an inventory report and it shows a lot less cattle, even though we know there's a lot less cattle, when you see confirmation of it, that's bullish too. So we did see some estimates come out on Wednesday, and compared to 2 years ago, total cattle and calves, the estimate is 98.1, down 2%. That's pretty big. I mean, you get down 2%, that means something. And the calf crop, compared to 2 years ago, is expected to be 97.8% of that same report 2 years ago. So be interesting to see how that goes, but everything still feels bullish. I mean, Trump's making trade deals. They were bullish. All your publicly traded markets have been running pretty good, but man, your board just seems like an absolute runaway. These feeder cattle futures are just running out ahead of these index levels, and we're seeing cattle in the auctions just bringing unbelievable prices, making the index launch, and the feeder board is running out ahead of them. It's crazy. And maybe your August live cattle have gotten close enough, and October too, but maybe they've gotten close enough to the trade that you know, they're not that far behind anymore. August live cattle spot market there is trading near 227. Well, in the Southern Plains, your market last week was 230. They like to keep a $2 to $3 basis right there. That's comfortable for them. And your live cattle contract has never attempted to get anywhere close to the Northern Plains fed cattle cash market. It does good to try to stay within eyesight of the Southern Plains, which is a good $10 back. But it just feels like we're getting close to something happening here. We may see another big run up with the board and prices here as we get up to these reports on Friday and maybe even into next week as we see the aftermath of those reports. But you know, you talk to these technical guys, it's going to stop tripping every trigger there is for overbought. So it seems like it's at the boiling or breaking point here. If you guys have a sale barn, or if you know of a sale barn that needs a little more attention, tell you what, DVAuction representatives are usually busy running around covering production sales all over the country. There's not many of them going on right here. It's kind of our dead time. We've got DVAuction reps, not too busy. They can get you hooked up. Tell you what, in the last couple of weeks we've hooked up 2 new sale barns in southeast Kansas. Had another big sale barn in the northern plains get a hold of us on Wednesday. They want to get hooked up, guys. We can do it. It's going to give you a lot more exposure, and any kind of exposure is a good thing. We'll come to your sale barn, bring the equipment, install all of it, and train you how to use it for $1,000. After that, it's $350 a month, as many sales as you want to have. Tell you what, you compare that to advertising, and that is really cheap. As many people that are scrolling through DVAuction, looking at things, and then they see your sale barn being broadcasted, they like to click on there, see what's going on. It's really cheap, guys. And don't forget, we've got a office full of computer gurus there in Lincoln, and we've got an office full of sweet girls there in Norfolk for your customer service, and all that is free with your subscription there. We don't charge for tech support or customer service. So if you want to do something, just message me or get a hold of one of us, and we can sure get something going for you. Even if you've already got a broadcaster, we can add that DVAuction broadcasting to your existing broadcast. It doesn't hurt a thing. You'll get put on this National Beefwire TV, and you'll actually get a National Beefwire TV to put up in the lobby of your sale barn. I tell you what, it's a pretty useful tool there, guys. So we're out looking for new business. So if you guys are interested, get a hold of us. Let's talk about your board on Wednesday. August live cattle futures up 205 at 227.02. October up 237 at 223.50. Your back months were all up as little as 162 higher, and that was on the farthest out traded month, to as much as 225 higher. Big day on your board. August feeder cattle up 325 at 331.52. With all these big prices on yearling feeders in your sales, your real-time index, which is up to date, current, accurate, is sitting at 327.86, and that August feeder board is 331.52. Wow, I don't know where it's running to, but it's up there. September feeder cattle up 332 at 331.90. Wow. Your back months were up even more than that on your farthest outs. It was up 377 to up 462. December new crop corn down a half cent a bushel at 417.5. November new crop beans down 2 3/4 at 1022 3/4 cents a bushel. And hard red winter wheat for September down 9 3/4 at 523.5. Your fat cattle trade, we haven't seen anything, just that 150 head or whatever I told you there in Iowa on Monday. That was steady at 240. Haven't seen anything. Now, there was a lot of talk about asking prices in the northern plains of 245. It did not spark any interest. I haven't really heard of any bids. Lower bids are a lot lower in the southern plains. They're not going to take that right now. But I tell you what, it is a standoff, and your packers have the slaughter whittled down to nothing. A lot of them aren't killing on Fridays. We've got a major plant that's been kind of hindered all week. So I'm not sure what's going to give there. If we see a sharply lower or any lower fed cattle trade, it may give out on this market that's it's been holding up here. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota had 600 head. The conventional fed cattle sold steady to $2 lower from $240 to $245. Program cattle from $240 to $247. They had beef, dairy, crossbred cattle, steers bring $236 to $240. But Glacial Lakes Livestock in Watertown, South Dakota, their slaughter cattle auction had 700 head. Their fed cattle sell $3 to $5 higher than last week. Conventional cattle were $238 to $244, and program cattle from $246 to $256. Some of those smaller regional plants are really looking for the program cattle, and there's not many of them around. They sell Holstein steers in Watertown from $2 to $228, and big fat fed cows from $168 to $178. Box beef cutout values were lower and sharply lower, like I said earlier. Choice cuts down $498 at $367.52. Your selects were down $255 at $345.39. Your slaughter, it's struggling here, guys. 331,000 head estimated cattle slaughter up through Wednesday. That was 12,000 less than last week at this point, 31,000 less than the same point last year. Talk about what else is going on. Legacy Beef Co-op, become a member, and you can put a deposit down on units for $25 if you want to become a member, and it will insulate you from the black swan events and the big drops going forward. You will own a percentage of that heritage beef plant that is being built there near Council Bluffs, Iowa, and you're going to be able to reserve your harvest spot. Those will be traded on down the road, and then they will gain in value. It's a good investment. I just talked last week with a Feeder Flash gang member from Virginia, a really nice fella that he got a hold of James Timmerman there, and he decided to invest with him, and was feeling really good about it. Get a hold of James at legacybeefcoop.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood, guys. Your real-time index, up to date and current after your Wednesday sales had concluded, sitting at 327.86. That was down 39 cents from the previous day, from Tuesday's late index there. Had a lot of commodity type cattle selling on Wednesday. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index in there pretty tight at 327.44. Talk about your big sales that happened on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno Livestock Market, DVAuction broadcaster there, they sold 6,000 head on Tuesday and Wednesday, with the calves on Tuesday, yearling feeders on Wednesday. Trends were sharply higher again. Feeder steers $2 to $4 higher, with spots as much as $11 higher on the 9-weight steers. Feeder steers under 800 pounds were $4 to $9 higher. Feeder heifers $2 to $4 higher. Your stocker type heifers, turnout heifers, $10 to $15 higher. The light calves on Tuesday were $2 to $7 lower, but that could have just been because they were on Tuesday, because Wednesday was such a runaway. So I don't know, you can use your own judgment on that. The most impressive quote I did see out of El Reno was 97 steers weighed 879 at 332. Talk about a market that I didn't have room for on Tuesday, or on Wednesday's sale report for yesterday. I'm going to put on this episode of the Feeder Flash. Tuesday they sold some cattle in Holton Livestock Exchange in Holton, Kansas. It was heifers off of Flint Hills there, 123 head of them weighed 813 at 311.35. Thought that was a big heifer quote there, guys. How about Parsons Livestock in Parsons, Kansas? I told you about the special they were going to have with about 8 loads of those cattle in off the Flint Hills. I'll show them to you. That's how they sold. They had a load of steers, weighed 718, bring 350, 450. They had 176 heifers, weighed 730 at 331.85 to 332.10. Tell you what, Wade Dillinger, he's got that sale running, and it was kind of impressive watching those green yearlings come through the sale there. Another market up in Nebraska, Albion Livestock Auction, sold 65 steers, weighed 828 at 344.50. I don't think we've ever heard them that high in the light 8s, guys. But the most impressive quotes that I saw anywhere in your Macrocin, no BS, top quotes for the day come out of Bassett Livestock Auction in Bassett, Nebraska. You remember just 2 weeks ago, they had the big barbecue special. They called the light 10 weight cattle there $13 to $23 higher on Wednesday in Bassett. My goodness. You look at these big strings of feeder cattle out of Bassett there. They had 180 steers, weighed 936 at 336.75. There was 300 steers, weighed 1074 at 315.75. It's just a runaway, guys. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday, and the top quote for the day, come out of Bassett there, and they were the 159 head of 1,038 pound steers, bring 318 and a quarter. Wow. You run a simple break even on those. If your cost of gain is $1, they break even at 233. If your cost of gain is 80 cents, they break at 225. So you don't have any room to stub your toe there at all, guys. Those things bring $3,300 per head. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday. I'm Corbitt Wall with this feeder flash feature. I'm going to be interviewing James Timmerman here with Legacy Beef Cooperative and Cattlemen's Heritage Beef. How are you doing, James?
Good. How are you doing, Corbitt?
Now, this is the first time we've met, right?
That's correct.
But the Timmerman name is synonymous with top quality cattle feeding and top quality beef production, right?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell me a little bit about that and how it ties in with this new venture?
Yes. So my family is, like you said, in the cattle feeding, ranching business. All started with my grandfather in the mid-40s, moved to Omaha, Nebraska, and built a feed yard there to be closer to the stockyards. My dad and his brothers took over the family business and grew it in western Nebraska and eastern Colorado. And they themselves got involved in beef processing in the mid-90s. And so that family legacy really is expanded to 2 brothers and cousins who are in the cattle feeding business. And myself, I kind of chose a little different path and went into beef processing and was in the business for 25 years. And so it's kind of led me here to Legacy Beef Co-op.
So you got a lot of background in this industry. What drew you to Legacy Beef Cooperative and Cattlemen's Heritage Beef?
So I've heard about the project for the last few years and just got a little bit of information. We discussed the co-op model. I thought it was perfect for the industry at this time in kind of the development of beef processing. And so I really wanted to be part of the team, and kind of coincidence, they were needing some assistance with the co-op. And so then in October of 2024, I decided to join Legacy Beef and work on the project.
So last time we were interviewing Chad Tenninger, and you have become involved with him with this venture, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now he has experience in this, and he was telling us about the efficiencies that he's put into this new plant. Do you see these efficiencies and how they're going to help the success of this plant in the
Oh,
long run?
I really do, because a lot of the plants now being developed in the last 4 or 5 years, the technology is really amplified to where it was, where there's a lot more robotics involved in the actual processing and the sorting of beef products, also in the storage, where it really helps reduce the labor needed for beef processing, which in turn, with labor being the biggest cost, reduce the cost and makes the plant much more efficient.
I see. James, can you give our audience just a kind of an overview of Legacy Beef Cooperative and Cattlemen's Heritage Beef, what we're talking about exactly?
Yes. So Legacy Beef Co-op is the co-op that producers will join and be members of. Cattlemen's Heritage is the beef processing plant being developed near Council Bluffs, Iowa. So the members of Legacy Beef will be equity members in Cattlemen's Heritage, and the equity we raise through the co-op, they will be 20% owners of Cattlemen's Heritage.
So what do you see valuable within the co-op model and eventually the Cattlemen's Heritage Beef plant?
What I like a lot about the co-op model is that it allows small to medium-sized cattle producers to be involved, one, in a co-op that helps them out in their operations. Plus, I think within the beef industry, I think we do need more producer involvement. So with this model, if you join the co-op and become a member of the co-op, you also have the opportunity to invest in Cattlemen's Heritage Beef as well. So you do have a little bit of equity into cattle and beef production.
So do you think ultimately this type of a model for the beef packing will help keep more smaller farmer feeders in business?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I
And
do.
that's one thing that drew you to it.
That's really what draws me to it, is because I do think you hear a lot of stories being out in the country with small producers, anywhere from 2,500 head they feed to even up to 10,000, how they really are looking for better marketing opportunities and really more equitable arrangements compared to the larger feeders in the country.
Sure. Can you tell us a little bit about the investment model with Legacy Beef Cooperative and where we're at within that?
So the overall investment, have 5 rounds of investment. Currently, we have sold through the first 2 rounds, so we're in the third round. To what we are currently in right now is what we're calling our seed round, which is giving you the opportunity to reserve your space, or shackle space in the investment in Cattlemen's Heritage. So right now, to reserve a spot is $10 per head. We'll reserve a spot in the co-op and you become a member of the co-op. The share price we're currently at in round 3 for the equity investment in Cattlemen's Heritage is $175 per share per shackle space.
Okay. And that's gone up from the first and second.
Correct. So it was started at 125 for the first round, 150 for the second. So right now 175, and then round 4 is 200 and round 5 is 225.
Okay.
So there are advantages in getting in currently.
Right. So, but to reserve your spot, you need to be invested in one of the rounds at least, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, is there a maximum or a minimum of your spots that you can reserve?
The minimum would be, we say there's no minimum, but the best really is 1 load. So we do have members who are buying 40 shares just for 1 load a year.
Cattle.
Yes, and there is no maximum.
Okay. And that's annually. So if you bought 40, you could send 1 load of fed cattle into the Cattlemen's Heritage Beef plant.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, good. So you've got a key date coming up here this summer. Tell me about July 1st and what that's going to kick off.
That's correct, Corbitt. On July 1st, we are really going to start the co-op on an operational basis. So we are going to start offering members marketing opportunities for the cattle that are part of the co-op. Also look at ways that we can help them on their purchasing power. And really what the goal with that co-op starting on July 1st is really to give the small to medium producers the same, put them on the same level playing field as the big feed yards.
I see. So these shares, once you purchase them, they're going to have value, right? And will you be able to market them among other shareholders?
Yes. So really, the way we have it structured is that per share that you purchase, you are obligated to deliver the animal. Then if you feel like you cannot make the delivery, then you do have the ability to lease those shares out to other members of the co-op that they can, you can have some value owning these shares and you can have cattle delivered on those shares.
We've seen something similar to this with U.S. premium beef in Kansas. So, in that those shares have become pretty valuable. Do you see that happening with this venture?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. What kind of cattle are we looking to harvest at Cattlemen's Heritage Beef? Do you have a target?
Currently, we don't have a specific target, but as most beef processors, we're looking for a high grade, high quality beef. But really, we're not going to specify exactly what we need to have delivered.
So, James, this whole venture has kind of been based off of marketing the cattle off of the dressed beef product or price rather than the live market or the way some of your big four packers price the cattle or purchase the cattle. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes. So we are looking for the pricing the cattle is using the USDA choice market as the base and plan on gridding the cattle with premiums and discounts based off USDA choice, which is different than buying them live or buying them just dressed beef.
Right. And the market's been really good. All-time record highs here posted within the last few months on every class of cattle that there is. But that's not going to last forever.
That's correct.
So
That's correct.
we may be able to insulate some of these producers from the downside of this going forward, don't you think?
Yes, yes. We feel like, really with the pricing model we have in place for the cattle, it really it gives protection because you're going to be paid what the plant is selling you beef for. So you really get the true value of your beef.
I see. So you're basically going to be sharing more of the pie than what cattle feeders are used to, the way things have been set up, right?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
great.
Yes.
So this is primarily set up for smaller feeders. Of course, a bigger feeder could get involved in it too. But how many cattle are we looking to harvest annually?
So annually, we're looking to harvest about 525,000 head annually. So 2,000 head a day on one shift per day.
So is that how many shares there's going to be put out then is 525,000
That's correct.
annually?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so all of those cattle. So you won't be having to get short of cattle and be looking for them. You'll know that they're coming. How will you schedule the cattle in?
The way I look at it is that really once you know your cattle are ready to come in, you need to call us. We'll schedule based on really first come, first serve. If you call, we'll put up if we know the week your cattle are ready, we'll schedule them. But we also will probably need to go out on the market some in certain months, especially in the summer,
to fill some gaps.
To fill in some gaps.
I see. Okay. Now you're also looking at producers further in the line to maybe fill some of these gaps, and you've got a cow calf program or a cow calf producer program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So we are looking and visiting with cow calf producers all throughout the country. And as you know, the market right now, they are selling their calves with a pretty good profit. But as we also know that the market there will be a downturn. So what we are really is targeting with cow calf producers is that they become members of the co-op. They own the share, so it really gives them a lot of flexibility based on the market. Either they can sell their calves like they currently are now, and then lease their shares out to the feeders who buy them. But then the cow calf would still get benefits of ownership in terms of delivery fees and equity. But they also, it gives them a little protection that if they want to retain ownership in their calves, they can feed them out and then have somewhere to go that will still give them a hedge and true value of what their carcasses are worth.
Right. So Legacy Beef Cooperative has pretty much all been set up to get the investment and get the core to get Cattlemen's Heritage Beef going, right?
Correct.
Okay. And do we have a time frame on Cattlemen's Heritage Beef when we think we would have that going and could start harvesting some cattle?
Currently, we are still scheduled to start groundbreaking towards the end of this year, which would really, it's a 2-year construction project, so probably the beginning of 2028. But as we explore market conditions, especially in the next few months, and look at heifer retention, we do also have the ability to delay a little bit and open when the market conditions seem more advantageous.
As tight as packer margins are right now, I wouldn't blame you by
Yes.
dragging your feet just a
No.
little bit. So might be better for the whole project if you do.
Yes, yes.
But it's just it's right on the horizon here. I mean, it'll be here before you know it.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. So of the 5 rounds of investment, we've made it through the first 2, and then we're working on the 3rd round. How much longer do you think it'll take to finish that up?
Well, our goal for the next round really is to have it completed by July 1st,
Okay.
and then move on to the next.
I see. So if we've got some listeners that are interested in investing into Legacy Beef Cooperative, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you guys and see what they want to do?
Well, the best way to get a hold of us is go to our website, which is www.legacybeefcoop.com, and there is a submission form where you can send us your information. You can email me directly at james@legacybeefcoop.com or call me at 531-375-6559.
Well, we're moving right along on this Legacy Beef Cooperative investment, and it won't be long before we're going to have groundbreaking on this Cattlemen's Heritage Beef plant. It's an exciting new venture, the efficiencies we've talked about, and it was great to get to talk to you and learn more about this project.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad I could share it with you.
Until next time, I'm Corbitt Wall with this Feeder Flash feature.